Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we are discussing conformal mappings, conformal transformations. Let me recall the definition. Conformal mapping or the conformal transformation is a complex transformation which preserve angle, right? If theta is the angle in z plane, then that is getting preserved in w plane. The same angle will be there. So here conformal means this theta equal to phi. Theta equal to phi. So we have discussed the properties of conformal mapping like translation, rotation, rotation or the magnification we can say, inversion, and the last is bilinear transformation. Actually, if you look at this bilinear transformation, that is the combination of all the previous three properties. Hmm? If we look at the numerator or denominator only, that is just like a plus bz, right? If we consider a as a complex number, then the sum of two complex number we can say like this. So that is nothing but a translation. So if b is a complex number and z is a complex number, then b into z is a rotation or magnification, right? And 1 upon a function of z is nothing but the inversion transformation. So bilinear transformation is a combination of all the previous transform properties of transformation like translation, rotation, inversion. Okay. As we have discussed that it maps circles onto circles. Bilinear transformation maps circles in z plane to the circles in w plane. And the second property of bilinear transformation is cross ratio is constant. So the cross ratio of z coordinates and cross ratio of w coordinates is constant. This is nothing but the cross ratio. We have discussed two examples also, right? So let us discuss one theoretical question based on the bilinear transform. Is the screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Hmm. So the question is, uh, discuss the transformation under the function. And the question is, discuss the transformation under the function. Say our standard function w is equal to z square. So let us now check under this transformation, the images in w plane goes to where? Okay, or goes to what images in w plane? So solution. Let us start with the transformation w is equal to z square we have given. Let us first of all separate its real and imaginary part. So as we all know that z is equal to x plus iy, and when we expand this, what will get? X square plus 2ixy plus iy the whole square, right? That is x square plus 2ixy plus I square y square. But I square क्या होता है? This I square is -1. So what we'll get? X square plus this minus y square. I'm writing here first of all, minus y square and plus I times 2xy. So this is of the form u plus iv, right? This is of the form u plus iv, where what is u? U is real part. I'm writing here u is real part of w, and that is x square minus y square, and v is imaginary part of w, that is 2xy. Right, so we already have checked whether this function is analytic or not. It satisfies the Cauchy-Riemann equations. It satisfies ux is equal to vy and uy equal to minus vx. Therefore it is analytic function. and actually this is a polynomial function, it is analytic everywhere. Okay, so let us now investigate the images in Z transform maps to images in W plane. Images in Z plane maps to images in W plane. तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल हम क्या करते हैं कि व्हाट वी डू, वी कंसिडर द लाइंस इन W plane, सपोज, है ना, सपोज दिस इज अवर W plane and this is our Z plane. U axis, V axis, X axis, Y axis. This is Z plane. This is W plane. तो हम पहले तो क्या करते हैं कि let us take some lines in W plane. Say U equal to 1, U equal to 2, U equal to 3. Means what? These are all the vertical lines, na, parallel to V axis. Yes or no? And suppose if you consider the lines parallel to U axis also, that is V equal to 1, V equal to 2, and so on. तो इसमें से हम दो लाइंस लेते हैं, सपोज U equal to C and V equal to D. So let us now check. Suppose the line U equal to C maps to what? Or the line is the image of from Z plane, and the line V equal to D. First of all, is this clear that U equal to C and V equal to D are the lines in W plane? Is this clear to everyone? C is any constant and D is any constant. And if we check the angle between these two lines, what is the angle between U equal to C and V equal to D? That is 90 degree, because these are the perpendicular lines. Na?
Yes.
It is just like X is equal to 1 and Y equal to 1. You can see both the lines are perpendicular in XY plane. Okay, so these lines U equal to C and V equal to D are perpendicular in W plane. Let us now check whether uh, these lines maps to what in Z plane, or these lines are the mapping of what from Z plane. So for U equal to C and V equal to D, what we will get? U is nothing but what? X square minus Y square, and that is equal to C, we are saying. And here another side, V equal to D. तो what is V? V क्या है हमारा? V is 2xy. So 2xy equal to D. ठीक है, तो this is an equation of what? If we check this equation, x square minus y square equal to C. This represents what in xy plane? Do you know x square upon a square minus y square upon b square is equal to C? Or x square minus y square is equal to C represents? If it is plus, then that will be a circle, right? And if it is minus, then that will be
Hyperbola.
hyperbola, exactly. X square minus y square is hyperbola. ठीक है, and on other side 2xy is nothing but xy only. So xy equal to d by 2, suppose. So what it represent? Xy is equal to C represents what? Hello? Or xy equal to any constant represent what? Xy equal to 2 represent, that is again a hyperbola, right? And that is
Yes.
actually a quadrant hyperbola. Quadrant hyperbola. X square minus y square is a parabola like this. Sorry, hyperbola like this. And this x y equal to d by 2 or xy equal to C is again a hyperbola that will be like this. That is actually a quadrant hyperbola. It is called quadrant hyperbola. ठीक है, तो वो ऐसा रहेगा ना, that is like this. Yes or no? Quadrant hyperbola. Hello.
Yes, sir.
So if we check the tangent nature, actually these are not the accurate hyperbolas. So if we check the tangent at these points, then that will be like this. Okay. These are not the proper hyperbola. So if we draw the proper hyperbola, the angle must be 90 degree actually. That is why this mapping is conformal actually. Okay. So you can see this u equal to c line maps to what in z plane? U equal to c lines maps a rectangular hyperbola, right? X square minus y square is equal to c. And v equal to d line maps to a quadrant hyperbola in z plane. Is this clear? Huh? Let us now check whether the angle is 90 degree or not mathematically. But geometrically, is it clear to everyone that these lines maps to hyperbolas? Hello? U
Yes.
equal to C, that is a line parallel to V axis, or the all vertical lines will maps to this hyperbola. So there will be a chain of hyperbolas depending on C. Can you see? Can you visualize this? The hyperbolas will be like this, all the rectangular hyperbolas. And the quadrant hyperbolas will be like this. Yes or no? Depending on the values of C and D. So geometrically it is clear now that the lines parallel to U axis will maps to a quadrant hyperbola, and the lines parallel to V axis maps to a rectangular hyperbola. Let us now check whether they are perpendicular or not, or the orthogonal or not, these two parabolas. So how do we check? Do you know any property from the
M1,
geometry?
M2 equals to -1.
Exactly. The two curves are perpendicular to each other if their slopes are, or the product of their slope is -1.
-1.
So let us find the slopes of these two parabolas. So how do we get the slope? We differentiate both sides. So the derivative is 2x minus 2y dy by dx is equal to 0. तो यहाँ से dy by dx का वैल्यू क्या होगा? dy by dx is equal to it is x by y ना,
It's fine.
x upon y. से m1 सपोज, इसको हम m1 बोलते हैं, m1. And from this इसका क्या होगा? By product rule, we have to use the product rule here. So x dy by dx plus y is equal to 0, right? तो यहाँ से dy by dx क्या होगा? dy by dx, that is m2 equal to minus y upon x, right? So therefore m1 into m2 क्या होगा ये? Is it -1? X upon y into minus y by
Yes.
x. So that is -1. So what does it mean? It means that the two hyperbolas are perpendicular to each other, orthogonal to each other. That means the angle is preserved, right? We have checked. The angle between these two curves in W plane is 90 degree because these are the perpendicular lines. And in Z plane also, they are perpendicular to each other. Their images are perpendicular to each other, in fact. Clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
नाउ अभी हमने क्या देखा कि डब्ल्यू प्लेन की प्री इमेज जो है वो हाइपरबोला से, अभी हम देखते हैं कि जेड प्लेन की इमेजेस क्या होगी डब्ल्यू प्लेन में. सो इफ वी consider the perpendicular curves or perpendicular straight lines in particular, if x equal to a and y equal to b, suppose these are the straight lines in xy plane, right? X equal to a means vertical line and y equal to b means horizontal line. And what is the angle between these two? That is again 90 degree, right? Hmm? X equal to a are all vertical lines, or x equal to a1 a2. X equal to a is a line parallel to x and y equal to b is a line parallel to x axis. This is x axis, this is y axis, this is u axis, this is v axis. Is this clear? Hello everyone,
Yes,
सबको
sir.
क्लियर? हाँ, तो हम चेक कर रहे हैं अभी कि these lines maps to what in w plane. This is my z plane and this is w plane. So as we know u क्या है, u equal to x square minus y square and v is 2xy. So first of all, what we do, suppose if we substitute x is equal to a into suppose into u, or if we substitute for x is equal to, let me write here, for the line x is equal to a, v क्या होगा, v is 2ay. तो यहां से मुझे y का वैल्यू मिलेगा, y is equal to y is v upon 2a. Yes or no? So we can substitute this y into u. So therefore u तो है मेरा, u is x square minus y square. So I'm substituting x is equal to a, so that will be a square minus y in terms of a will be v by 2a the whole square. तो यहां से मुझे मिल गया a square minus v square by 4a square. Yes. तो मुझे बताओ what is this in w plane, it represents what? As we all know that suppose say y equal to x square, ये क्या होता है? Hello, y equal to x square represents what in xy plane?
Parabola.
This is a parabola in xy plane.
Yes.
Y equal to minus x square is inverted parabola in xy plane. Inverted. अगर मैं उसमें कुछ ऐड कर देता हूँ like y equal to say c minus x square, then that will be a translation in that inverted parabola. So is it not like that in uv plane? This is very similar to that. You can check that u is equal to a square minus, I can write it this as a 1 upon 4 a square into v square. So these are all the things constant. This is constant, this is constant. So is it not like this? So this is kind of u equal to minus of v square, some c minus or c1 minus some constant times c2 into v square. So that is again a parabola. Is this clear? Inverted parabola, in fact. Hello.
Yes.
So u equal to minus v square kind of. ठीक है. Then next is, तो आप इसको ऐसे भी लिख सकते हो, u माइनस ए स्क्वायर इज इक्वल टू माइनस ऑफ v square by 4a square, so that you'll come to know that y plus c or y minus c equal to minus x square is a parabola. ठीक है, कैसे भी, लेकिन try to get the things. This is an inverted parabola. तो इसका 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 भी हम स्लोप निकालेंगे. व्हाट इज द स्लोप ऑफ दिस? व्हाट वी डू, वी डिफरेंशिएट दिस विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू यू. सपोज इसको हम विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू यू डिफरेंशिएट करते हैं. सो व्हाट द डेरिवेटिव विल बी 1 इक्वल्स टू v को भी हम विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू यू डिफरेंशिएट करेंगे. तो ये 1 up minus 1 upon 4 a square will be outside, and inside v square का डेरिवेटिव 2v and v का डेरिवेटिव dv by du. ठीक है, so that is equals to minus 2v by 4 a square dv by du. तो यहां से मुझे dv by du क्या मिल गया? Therefore m1, suppose m1 is dv by du, ये कितना हो गया, दैट विल बी इक्वल्स टू 1 अपॉन ना, और दिस विल बी लाइक माइनस 2a² upon v, yes or no? Minus
Yes.
2a² upon v. So in similar manner, if we check for, see, we have substituted only x is equal to a. Let us now substitute y equal to b there. For y equal to b, क्या मिलेगा मुझे? For y equal to b, I'll get x square minus y square. तो y को मैं b सब्सिट्यूट कर रहा था, x square minus b square is equal to u, and v क्या है? v is actually 2xy ना, तो y इक्वल टू b के लिए क्या मिलेगा? चॉइस bx, राइट. सो व्हाट वी डू, यहां से मुझे जो x का वैल्यू मिलेगा, यहां से x का वैल्यू कितना मिलेगा? x विल बी इक्वल्स टू v बाय 2b ना, तो उसको मैं यहां सब्सिट्यूट करता हूं. x is equal to v by 2b. So I'll substitute into u expression. What I'll get? V square by 4b square minus b square equal to u. Is this clear? तो यहां से मुझे क्या मिल गया बताओ? I'm getting u plus b square is equal to v square by 4b square. Is it also a parabola? Right? It is also a parabola. With the vertex we can say minus b square comma 0, and the above is also a parabola with the vertex. This is also a parabola with the vertex minus or plus a square comma 0. Right? Vertex of parabola. So what will be the slope of this? If we check the slope, when we differentiate this with respect to u, इसको भी, तो क्या होगा? 1 equals to 1 upon 4b square outside, यहाँ 2v dv by du. तो यहाँ से मुझे dv by du क्या मिलेगा? dv by du is equal to, is it 2b square upon v? That is my m2. तो अभी चेक करते हैं व्हाट इज m1 इंटू m2. m1 डॉट m2 क्या होगा? ये m1 क्या है हमारा? m1 इज माइनस 2a स्क्वायर बाय v, माइनस 2a स्क्वायर बाय v, एंड यहां से मुझे क्या मिल गया? नहीं, m1 m2 नहीं करेंगे ना, कर सकते क्या? ठीक है, एनीवेज, एंड m2 इज 2b स्क्वायर अपॉन v. तो यहां से मुझे क्या मिला? माइनस 4a स्क्वायर b स्क्वायर अपॉन v. राइट? बट व्हाट इज v? v क्या है? v इज 2xy. तो यहां x इक्वल टू a एंड y के लिए, y इक्वल टू b के लिए क्या होगा? v इंटू वी स्क्वायर ना, हियर ऑल्सो. तो बिकॉज ऑफ दिस क्या मिलेगा मुझे? m1 इंटू m2. इज इट -1?
Yes.
So that is choice AB the whole square. So that is -1. तो यहां से भी मुझे क्या मिल गया? The two curves are orthogonal to each other. So what we have seen here, we have seen that the lines which are perpendicular in W plane, Z plane, this is my Z plane, यहाँ मैंने दो lines लिए, line parallel to y axis and line parallel to x axis. These are the perpendicular line in uh, Z plane. These lines gets mapped to, huh? These lines gets mapped to parabolas, right? These lines gets mapped to parabola in W plane. So the parabola is like this, ऐसे कुछ तो होगा वो, है ना? और दूसरा है inverted parabola, that will be like this only. ठीक है? And both the parabolas are perpendicular to each other, orthogonal in fact. Why they are orthogonal? Because we have seen the property that their slopes have the product -1. Yes or no? So they preserve the angle also. But remember, u equal to c, sorry, x equal to a maps to a parabola, which is which parabola? Uh, which having the slope a square comma 0, ये वाला. And y equal to b maps to a parabola with the vertex minus b square comma 0, no? Yes or no? You can see. So this is the mapping, or this is the transformation under the function w equal to z square. तो यहाँ हम कंक्लूजन लिख सकते हैं कि the two straight lines at right angle in xy plane are mapped onto the two orthogonal parabolas meeting at the point. Is this clear to everyone? That conclusion is? The two straight lines in z plane which are perpendicular are maps to two parabolas in W plane. And even the two straight lines in W plane आता सुरू झालं. The two straight line in W plane maps to what? The hyperbolas, orthogonal hyperbolas, we can say. In Z plane. Yes or no? Hello? Is this clear to everyone? This the whole can be asked for 5 to 6 marks in final. Is this point clear to everyone?
Yes.
This is how we need to explain in the exam also. किसी को डाउट हो तो पूछ लो प्लीज. सब लोग है या सिर्फ ज्वाइन करके बैठे? Just reply. Let me see how many of you are there.
Yes, sir.
Let us discuss one more transformation. This is actually quite interesting that we can actually see under the transformation W given the lines or the parabolas maps to. Even with the help of bilinear transformation, we can check the circle or equation of circle maps to an equation of circle. Okay, and that will preserve the property also. Okay, so let us discuss one more transformation. W is equal to say, this is again standard W equal to e to the power z. This is an interesting. So let us first of all separate its real and imaginary part by putting z equal to x plus iy. So for z equal to x plus iy, what we will get? W equals to e to the power x plus iy. That is e to the power x into e to the power iy. That is e to the power x into, इसको हम कैसे लिख सकते हैं? E raised to I theta को by Euler's formula. It
Cos.
is exactly.
Cos.
That is cos y
Y
plus
plus
I sin y. Right? So let us now separate the real and imaginary part by multiplying e raised to x inside, because x and y are real actually here. X and y are real numbers. तो यहां से मुझे क्या मिलेगा? I'll get this to be e raised to x cos y as a real part plus I times e raised to x sin y as a imaginary part. This is of the form a plus ib w. Is this clear? यहाँ तक clear है सबको?
Yes, sir.
So this w is of the form now u plus iv. तो यहाँ से मुझे real part क्या मिला? u is e to the power x cos y and v is e to the power x sin y. Hmm? Is this clear? यहाँ तक सबको क्लियर है? तो हम इसको अभी देखेंगे कि जेड प्लेन की जो आई मीन लाइंस और समथिंग डायग्राम्स मैप्स टू व्हाट इन डब्ल्यू प्लेन. इसको हम ऐसे भी लिख सकते हैं, या वी कैन यूज द पोलर फॉर्म ऑफ द कॉम्प्लेक्स. हियर वी हैव यूज द कार्टेशियन फॉर्म. सपोज कार्टेशियन फॉर्म. This is actually the Cartesian form, I can say. Even this is a polar form also. Just if we compare, suppose, just a minute. In another way, actually in this way also we can do, but the more convenient and easy way is, suppose as we know, w is function of z. That is e raised to z given here. So if we consider it as of the form u plus iv, then इसी को हम पोलर फॉर्म में कैसे लिख सकते हैं w को? द पोलर फॉर्म ऑफ द पोलर फॉर्म is w equal to, do you know the polar form of complex number z? Z equal to r e raised to I theta ना. तो उसी को हम w में ऐसे लिखते हैं. सपोज w is rho e to the power I and say phi. ये बात क्लियर है सबको? Okay, let me explain why we are writing like this. See here. See here. Suppose z equal to x plus iy. Actually, this was there in the last pattern in engineering mathematics 2, but it is excluded, I guess, from M2, this point. But anyways, as we know, this can be represented in terms of r and theta. This is in terms of xy Cartesian coordinate. How do we write in terms of r and theta? Hmm? This z equal to can be written as r into cos theta plus I sin theta, because when we put the polar coordinate for x and y, what I'll get? R cos theta plus I into r sin theta. Yes or no? Because y is r sin theta and x is r cos theta. So when I take r common, r into cos theta plus I sin theta, isn't it? But this is nothing but what? Exponential function of Euler formula. So that will be r e raised to I theta.
Okay.
So any complex number will be having its exponential form. This is actually called exponential form of the complex number. This is called the polar form of the complex number. Okay, and this is called the exponential form. These are the three forms of the complex number: Cartesian form, polar form, and exponential form. So out of these three, we can use even exponential form. That will be easy for this particular question. So see here that is what I'm writing here. W equal to rho e to the power I phi, where what is rho? Rho is the radius of the circle and phi is the angular displacement. Suppose that circle is like this, then this is rho and this is phi. ठीक है, तो अभी देखेंगे हम कि देशपांडे मैम इज ऑन लीव. ठीक है, so when we use Euler form of e to the power I phi, then this can be written as rho into cos phi plus I sin phi. ठीक है, तो यहां से मुझे क्या मिल रहा है कि ओके, जस्ट ऐसे नहीं करते. एक मिनट, इसको कॉम्प्लेक्स फॉर्म को हम लेफ्ट हैंड साइड से कंपेयर करते हैं कि है ना, हमें W क्या दिया है. सिंस W इज, यहां से लिखता हूं मैं, न्यू पेज पे लिखता हूं. तो हमारे पास क्या है अभी. अरे यार, see here we are considering W equal to a rho e to the power I phi, and originally our function W is given to be e to the power z ना. तो इन दोनों को हम कंपेयर करते हैं कि e to the power z इक्वल टू रो e to the power I phi. तो e to the power z means e to the power x plus I y is equal to रो e to the power I phi. तो लेफ्ट हैंड साइड को मैं ऐसे लिख सकता हूँ e to the power x into e to the power I y is equal to रो e to the power I phi. So as rho is real number, purely real number, and this is purely imaginary number. Can you see this is an imaginary? Because this is of the form cos phi plus I sin phi. This is purely imaginary. And even on the left hand side, this is also purely imaginary. 310. This is purely imaginary, right? This is of the form cos y plus I sin y. And this is purely real number. Yes or no? So as we are saying they're equal, that means when we compare, what we will get? E to the
Rho
power
equals
x
V
क्या
raised
मिले?
to X.
Rho, right? And e to the power I y will be e to the power I phi. Yes or no? तो यहां से मुझे रेडियस मिल गया और द मॉड्यूलस ऑफ कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर इन डब्ल्यू प्लेन मिल गया, क्योंकि रो क्या है. इफ लुक एट दिस रो, सी हियर, यहां देखो ये क्या है. दिस इज अ रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर इन डब्ल्यू प्लेन. दिस इज जस्ट लाइक आर ई रेस टू आई थीटा. तो आर क्या होता है? आर इज मॉड ऑफ जेड ना. तो यहां रो क्या है? रो इज मॉड ऑफ डब्ल्यू. ठीक है, एंड फाई इज tan इनवर्स ऑफ v बाई यू. तो यहां मुझे मॉड ऑफ w मिल गया e to the power x, and when we take logs on both sides here, what I'll get? phi क्या मिलेगा मुझे? y मिलेगा ना,
Yes.
है ना? By taking logs on both sides, phi will be y. So these my two important equations, rho equal to x and phi equal to y. इन्हीं के ऊपर हम अभी कंक्लूजन निकालेंगे. तो देखो, अभी क्या करते हैं, अभी हम z प्लेन के कुछ लाइंस लेते हैं. सपोज x इज इक्वल टू a एंड y इक्वल टू b. सपोज सो फॉर let x equal to a and y equal to b. So as we know, these two lines are perpendicular to each other, right, in z plane? Yes or no? X equal to a and y equal to b, are these two lines perpendicular? Because this is a vertical line and this is horizontal line, so both are perpendicular to each other. So let us now check these line maps to what. So for x is equal to a, what we'll get? For x is equal to a, मुझे रो क्या मिलेगा? Therefore rho is equal to e to the power a. So as a is constant, just like e raised to 1, e raised to 2, तो ये क्या है? रियल नंबर ही है ना? हेलो,
Yes.
हाँ. सो रो इक्वल टू, सपोज e raised to 1 will be some constant, तो that rho equal to constant means what? That mod of z is constant ना? This is nothing but mod z ना? हेलो, mod z, राइट, सॉरी mod w. तो mod of w इक्वल टू समथिंग क्या रिप्रेजेंट करता है? mod of z इक्वल टू कांस्टेंट क्या रिप्रेजेंट करता है? इट इज अ सर्कल ना. mod of w equal to say 1 is a unit circle. Mod of w equal to 2 is a circle with radius root 2. yes or no? तो वैसा ही है w प्लेन में, mod of w रिप्रेजेंट्स सर्कल. ठीक है, विथ रेडियस क्या? रेडियस मीन्स रो. तो यहां रेडियस क्या मिला मुझे? e to the power a. Is this point clear to everyone? e raised to a. Hello, that see, x equal to a line, x equal to a is a straight line in z plane. X equal to a is a straight line perpendicular to y axis that maps to a circle. Under this transformation w is equal to e to the power z. Is this point clear? This, ये लाइन कहां मैप हो रही है? सर्कल को मैप हो रही है, एंड सर्कल विथ रेडियस e to the power a. Is this point clear?
Yes, sir.
तो ये लाइन सर्कल को मैप हो रही है. थोड़ा सा इमेजिन करो प्लीज कि z प्लेन की एक वर्टिकल लाइन w प्लेन में कहा मैप हो रही है? सर्कल को. So that is what the logic and magic of complex number. Remember, आप यहां से कोई भी रीजन किसी को भी ट्रांसफॉर्म कर सकते विद द हेल्प ऑफ दीज टेक्निक्स फ्रॉम द ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन. That is why this topic is introduced in your syllabus. Similarly, for y equal to b suppose, तो यहां हम लिख सकते हैं. पहले तो कंक्लूजन क्या रहेगा हमारा? द कंक्लूजन इज द लाइंस और ऑल द स्ट्रेट. सपोज दिस इज अबाउट x इक्वल टू a. अगर मैं कोई दूसरा लाइन लेता हूं और x इक्वल टू b, तो ये कहां मैप होगा? ये भी स्ट्रेट, ये भी सर्कल को ही मैप होगा ना. विथ रेडियस क्या होगा उसका? e टू द पावर b. यस और नो? हेलो, अगर मैं x इक्वल टू 0 लेता हूं, x इक्वल टू 0 मतलब व्हाट? x इक्वल टू 0 मींस y एक्सिस, राइट? yes or no? x equal to 0 means y axis. Do you know this?
Yes.
तो y axis कहां मैप हो रहा है? आप a equal to 0 सब्स्टिट्यूट कर दो ना. x equal to a we are taking to be 0, तो e to the power 0 क्या होगा? 1. that means rho equal to 1. तो rho equal to 1 means that is a standard circle, standard unit circle with radius 1. Is this clear? So x equal to 0 means the whole y-axis. See, y-axis is infinite, and the whole y-axis is getting mapped to a bounded circle with radius 1. Can you imagine this? Hello? Can you imagine that the whole line, the whole y-axis is getting mapped to a circle? In fact, unit circle. Please do reply, everyone. Isn't it the nice thing and interesting? किसी को भी इंटरेस्टिंग नहीं लगा? Great. चलो, कोई बात नहीं. So the lines vertical, all the vertical lines maps to the circles with different radius. ठीक है, x equal to a, x equal to b, तो ऐसे सर्कल मुझे मिलते जाएंगे with different radius, ऐसे. And so on. All the concentric circles. तो यहां मैं लिख सकता हूं कि all vertical lines maps to concentric circles. Let us now see the image of this phi equal to y. अभी ये क्या मिला मुझे? x इक्वल टू a का ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन में. अभी अभी y इक्वल टू b के बारे में देखते हैं. y इक्वल टू b. So for y equal to b, for this line y equals to b, we will get phi equal to b, right? Because phi equal to y we are having. Yes or no?
Yes.
So phi equal to b. तो phi equal to b क्या रिप्रेजेंट करेगा बताओ? b is constant. तो पहले तो मुझे बताओ y equal to b क्या है z प्लेन में? y equal to b represents what in z plane? Hello? Is anybody there? y equal to 1 क्या है?
Line parallel to x-axis.
y equal to 1 is a line parallel to x-axis. Y equal to 2 is a line parallel to x-axis. Y equal to 3 is a line parallel to x-axis. Y equal to b is a line parallel to x-axis.
Yes.
So phi equal to b. तो यहाँ w plane में ये phi है क्या? Can you imagine? Just I have explained already that w equal to rho e to the power I phi. Just a minute. I phi. तो जैसे कि z प्लेन में z इज अ कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर, w प्लेन में w इज अ कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर, उसका डिस्टेंस फ्रॉम द ओरिजिन क्या होगा? रो, दैट इज मॉड ऑफ w. एंड उसका विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू यू एक्सिस जो रोटेशन रहेगा वो क्या होगा? फाई. इज दिस क्लियर?
Yes.
It is just like z equal to r e raised to I theta. R is a mod of z, यहाँ वो mod of w होगा, एंड थीटा इज द एंगुलर डिस्प्लेसमेंट, तो यहाँ थीटा वो है. तो यहां इन दिस पर्टिकुलर phi इक्वल टू बी के लिए phi इक्वल टू बी मीन्स एंगल इज कांस्टेंट, लाइक phi इक्वल टू से पाई. तो पाई इज कांस्टेंट, यू गो ऑन इंक्रीजिंग द रेडियस बट द एंगल इज कांस्टेंट. तो वो क्या मिलेगा? कैन यू इमेजिन व्हाट इट विल बी? phi इक्वल टू बी क्या है, क्या रिप्रेजेंट करता है? मैंने आपको हिंट भी दिया कि phi इक्वल टू पाई इज व्हाट इन डब्ल्यू प्लेन. हम्म. phi इक्वल
Line,
टू, हाँ, यस यस.
line parallel to x-axis.
हाउ विल इट बी? एक्स अभी मैं डब्ल्यू प्लेन में हूँ, नॉट इन जेड प्लेन. वी आर इन यूवी प्लेन. आर यू सेइंग द लाइन पैरेलल टू यू एक्सिस?
Yes.
बट दैट विल बी, दैट मस्ट बी v इक्वल टू ना. दैट विल नॉट बी phi इक्वल टू. phi क्या है ये आप समझ लो पहले. phi इज द एंगल मेड बाय दैट लाइन विद द u एक्सिस, and that angle we are fixing. B means any real number we are taking as a fixed value, like 1 2 3, phi equal to 1, phi equal to 2, phi equal to 3. तो आप देखो, यहां देखो, सपोज phi इक्वल टू मैं 1 लेता हूं और कुछ कुछ फिक्स वैल्यू लेता हूं, so that will gives me a fixed angle, right? Fixed angle, yes or no? There is no restriction for the length of that line, but the angle is fixed. That is only my restriction. Phi equal to say b. Is this clear? Phi equal to b1 ले लो आप, चलो. Phi equal to, अभी ये जो लाइन है that is a line parallel passing through the origin. ठीक है. Now phi equal to b1 क्या होगा? वो दूसरी लाइन होगी that is again passing through origin. Is this point clear?
Yes.
Phi equal to b, that is my fixed value of phi. This is phi equal to b, suppose b2. Then next phi equal to b3. तो b क्या है? b is actually we have selected y equal to b is a line parallel to y axis is getting mapped to what? All the straight line passing through origin. Can you imagine this? Hello.
Yes.
See here, phi equal to b means y equal to b. This is in z plane, this is z plane here, this is x axis, this is y axis, and we are taking y equal to b line. तो इसका ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन क्या है? Again line, but that line is passing through the origin. Is this line passing through origin? Tell me, in z plane. Is this line passing through origin y equal to b? b equal
Mm.
to 0 के लिए होगा, लेकिन b other than 0, non zero के लिए that will not passes through origin. But under this transformation e to the power z, this line is getting mapped to a line which is passing through the origin now in w plane. ये पॉइंट क्लियर है सबको?
Yes, sir.
So all the lines parallel to x axis getting mapped to all the lines passing through origin in w plane. I repeat, all the lines parallel to x axis in z plane map to the lines passing through the origin in w plane. That is what the conclusion for this. So I can write here all lines parallel to x axis map to lines passing through origin.
जी.
ठीक है. तो अभी देखो, अभी अभी इन दोनों को कंबाइन करते हैं, क्योंकि वी हैव स्टार्टेड विथ x इक्वल टू a एंड y इक्वल टू b ना. x इक्वल टू a एंड y इक्वल टू b. तो x इक्वल टू a एंड y इक्वल टू b क्या थे इन z प्लेन? वो क्या थे बताओ? x इक्वल टू a and y equal to b represents straight lines in z plane which are perpendicular to each other. Yes or no? This is suppose x equal to a, and this is suppose y equal to b. X equal to a, y equal to b. This is my x axis, this is my y axis. So are these perpendicular here in z plane? This is z plane, and we have checked that these lines map to x equal to a lines map to where? X equal to a lines map to circle, na? X equal to a kind of line maps to concentric circle actually. I mean all the vertical lines map to circle. Can you see this? Hello? X equal to a को मैं ब्लू कलर देता हूं. Is getting mapped to circle. एक ही सर्कल निकालता हूं मैं. चलो ये वाला बाहर वाला लेता हूं. We have seen x equal to a maps to circle. Now just now we have seen y equal to b maps to where? Y equal to b को मैं थोड़ा सा अलग कलर देता हूं. Y equal to b maps to a straight line passing through origin. ऐसे में infinite lines लेता हूं parallel to x axis, then those infinite lines getting mapped to infinite lines in w plane which are passing through origin. So can you check now? Can you see these two curves in w plane are perpendicular to each other? If you draw a tangent to the circle at this point and the line itself a tangent to itself, so are they orthogonal to each other? Hello? Are they orthogonal to each other? So the angle is getting preserved. That is why this w equal to e to the power z is called a conformal mapping because angle is preserved. Is this point clear to everyone? देख लो एक बार. If you want to ask me anything, you can ask. Any doubt, any question? Take 1 minute to revise, recall, and you can ask. Any doubt, any question? Any doubt? Rohan Paushe. Will you please unmute? Rohan. रोहन. Very good. Siddesh. Siddesh Chauhan. Very good. Tanmay Khandait. Are you there? Tanmay. Venkatesh. Venkatesh. Sakshi Saindane.
Yes, sir.
Any doubt?
No, sir.
No doubt. So, just unmute. Hello. Sakshi, just unmute your mic and tell me that whether W equal to e to the power z, a conformal mapping or not. Sakshi. Sakshi Saindane.
Sir, I don't know.
You said no doubt. You don't have any doubt. And then now you are saying, I don't know. Hmm? Don't you like to clear your doubts if you're not getting the thing? Sakshi? Oh God.
कौन सी साक्षी सर?
Krishna. Krishna? Krishna Totla. Great. Chetan More?
Yes, sir.
Am I audible clearly?
Yes, sir.
Good. So can you tell me whether the mapping e to the power z is conformal or not? Chetan. Don't need to put your finger on that mute tab. Once we finish our conversation. Chetan.
Okay.
Answer my question.
Sir, I don't know, sir.
So what are you doing here then? You don't know. Am I entertaining you?
No, sir.
Hmm? I'm asking repeatedly. If any doubt, you can ask. And now you are saying, I don't know. Great job you're doing, Chetan. Very nice. Atharva Jhende. है क्या? झंडे साहब है? कल्याणी यादव, आर यू देयर? हेलो, जस्ट अनम्यूट. मीनाक्षी,
Yes, sir.
am I audible clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you tell me whether the mapping this e raised to hz conformal or not?
Yes, sir, it is.
How do we say it is conformal? How will you explain?
Because the angles are the same in both the planes, so they are conformal like that.
Great. Good. Thank you. Vishakha Badgujar. Vishakha. Vishakha, are you there? Tanvi, Tanvi Sarada. ठीक है, no problem. I accept this also. I don't have any problem. So we have seen the straight lines parallel to x-axis maps to the circles, and straight line parallel to y-axis. Sorry, straight line parallel to y-axis maps to circles, and straight lines parallel to x-axis maps to the radial lines passing through the origin. ठीक है? We can say like this also. If we represent combinedly, then all the straight line, vertical straight lines, these are all getting mapped to the concentric circles, right? And all the straight lines parallel to x-axis are getting mapped to the radial lines like this, which are passing through the origin. ठीक है, let us now check whether this annular region means if I consider combinedly x equal to a and y equal to b, sorry, if we consider a rectangular region in a w plane, like see here, for a is less than x is less than b, x is less than or equal to a to b, and y is in between, suppose c to d, that is c is less than or equal to y is less than or equal to d, then what this represent in z plane? This represent in z plane as a rectangular strip. Can you see? Just a minute. x varies from a to b. So this is, suppose here it is, this is x equal to a, this is x equal to b, and y varies from c to d. So this is, suppose y equal to c, and this is, suppose y equal to d. Then the combined region is which region? This region, right? This is the combined region. Let us now check this combined region maps to what under this transformation? E to the power z. So as we know that x equal to a means x is nothing but what? Under this w equal to this transformation, x gives a circle. X equal to a gives a circle with e raised to a, right? तो यहाँ अगर मैं एक्सपोनेंशियल लेता हूँ दोनों साइड से तो क्या मिलेगा मुझे? e to the power a is less than or equal to e raised to x is less than or equal to b. But this e raised to x is nothing but my rho. So e raised to a is less than or equal to rho is less than or equal to, sorry, this is e to the power b. Right? So that means what? My rho varies from where to where? A circle with radius e raised to a to a circle with radius e raised to b. So suppose this is a circle with radius e to the power a, and this is a circle with radius e to the power a, and this is a circle with radius e to the power b. Okay. Now at the same time our y varies from c to d. So as we know y is nothing but phi. So what are the limits of phi? Phi is also varies from that constant c to constant d. So phi means what? Phi equal to c means a straight line passing through origin, right? Suppose this is phi equal to c, and phi equal to d means also a straight line passing through origin. Suppose this is a straight line passing through origin. Then what is the region bounded by all these four curves, four lines? So this is the region, right? Is this clear? So this rectangular x equal to a to x equal to b and y equal to c to y equal to d maps to annular region or the part of annulus in w plane. This is w plane, this is z plane. Okay. So we can check even this is an angle preserving. If we check the angle between the tangents here the angle is 90, here the angle is 90, because these lines are perpendicular to each other. We are mapping the rectangle, so angle is preserved there also. Okay, so this is all about the conformal mapping and the conformal transformation. The syllabus of engineering mathematics 3 over here. Okay, so let us recall the important points we have discussed from the complex, from the last unit in complex variables. The important points we have discussed, as the first one is analytic function. Analytic function, the necessary and sufficient conditions for analytic function, and the examples based on the analytic function using Milne-Thomson method to get the analytic function if a real part is given, imaginary part is given. Okay. Then the next important part from the last unit we have discussed as a complex integration. In complex integration, mainly we have seen the definition of complex integral as a integration of fz dz over the curve C, right? And depending upon the nature of curve, if the curve is a closed contour, Then we have seen specifically the formulas, say Cauchy's integral formulas, right? The first one we have seen as a Cauchy's theorem. It says if the curve is closed and the function do not have any singular point on and within the curve, then the integration over the closed curve will be 0. This is the statement of Cauchy's theorem, which is very, very important. And if there are some finite number of points of singularity inside the closed contour, then we have some Cauchy's version as a Cauchy's first formula. If there is only one singularity inside domain, then it says f of a, or I'm not writing the formula now, I've already explained in the morning. So we have discussed in the Cauchy's first formula of integration, right? And if that singularity is multiple singularity, then to find the integration we have the Cauchy's second integral formula. Okay? Then one more theorem we have discussed as a residue theorem. Either we can use Cauchy's theorems to get the required integral, or we have the Cauchy residue theorem. It says if the function have some finite number of singularities, poles inside the domain, then the integration over the closed curve C fz dz क्या होगा? It is 2 pi I into sum of residues. Hello, am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
The sum of residues, okay, and those residues we calculate at all those singularities, at all those poles. So this is the second important point from the complex we have discussed, and the third important point we have seen as a conformal mapping. So we have seen the definition of conformal mapping. It is a angle preserving mapping or the transformation. And we have seen the properties of conformal mapping as a translation, rotation or the magnification, inversion, and lastly, bilinear transformation. Right. So we have extended the notion of bilinear transformation by the cross ratio property. We have seen the bilinear transformation map circles onto circles, and even we have seen some standard bilinear transformation like w equal to z square or w equal to e to the power z. Few more transformations are there, standard transformation, which can give the standard mappings, standard transformation, which preserve the angle. Okay? So that is the only point important in conformal mapping as a bilinear transformation. Definitely there will be a question. Either discuss the transformation or find the transformation which maps the points to the points from Z plane to the points in W plane. Okay, so this is all about the complex variables, unit number 3. Then in unit number 5, that is in vector integral calculus, we have seen mainly the definition of line integral, which is integration over the curve C f bar dot dr bar. Right, where the curve must be smooth, and we call that is a work done. Then later we have seen the surface integral or double integration. Surface integral is the integration over the surface S f bar dot ds bar, where ds bar is an area element and where S is the surface used. This is a surface integration which gives surface area. Line integration gives the length of the curve. And the third one is triple integration as a volume integral. It is actually integration over the volume V f bar dot dv bar. Okay. So we have seen the relations between these integrals. As the first is Green's theorem. It says integration over the closed curve C mdx plus n dy is the surface integral over the surface S nx minus my dx dy. Right? Green's theorem. Then the next is Stokes theorem. We have seen Stokes theorem says the line integral over the closed curve C mdx plus n dy, that is nothing but f bar dot dr bar, is equal to the double integration over the surface S of del cross f bar dot ds bar, that is normal component of curl of f bar, where ds bar क्या होता है? ds bar is n cap ds. This is the Stokes theorem. Then we have seen the divergence theorem. Divergence theorem says the surface integral over the closed surface f bar dot d s bar or f bar dot n cap ds is equal to the volume bounded by that closed surface of del dot f bar dv. Divergence of f bar. Yes or no? So here mainly the surface used for the Stokes theorem is an open surface, and the surface used for the divergence theorem is a closed surface. These are the important things. So while considering the closed surface, the n cap used must be unit outward normal, which must be having the direction outside from the surface. We have seen few important examples also. Okay? So these are the only important points we have discussed from the vector integral calculus. Then from the unit number 4, that is vector differential calculus. One more important point we have discussed as a Maxwell's equation as an application of vector differential and integral calculus. In vector differential calculus, mainly the important points we have discussed as a gradient of phi, grad phi, which is nothing but del phi, right? Which represents normal to surface phi. Okay? And an important application of this grad phi we have discussed as a directional derivative. Directional derivative will be directional derivative of a phi at a point towards the given direction will be del phi dot u cap. We have solved many examples on this, and this is again very important point. Definitely there will be a question on this directional derivative. Okay? The next important point we have seen as a divergence of a vector point function. This is a scalar point function. Gradient is always of scalar point function, and divergence and curl is always of vector point function. So divergence of f bar is del dot f bar. If it is 0, del dot f bar equal to 0, then we say f bar is solenoidal. And we have seen the properties of divergence also. And then curl of f bar we have seen as a del cross f bar. And if the curl is 0, then vector point function f bar is said to be irrotational, conservative vector field. And in that case, we have been asked to find that scalar potential associated with that conservative vector field. Okay. And lastly, we have discussed the vector identities. There are some standard vector identities we have discussed, right? So these are the only important points from the vector differential calculus. Then as far as that unit number, sorry, this is 4, no? Unit number 4. Then unit number 3. Unit number 3 is numerical methods. Right. In numerical methods, we have discussed important points as a first one is interpolation. The two important interpolations we have discussed as a first is Lagrange's interpolation, and secondly Newton's interpolation. Right. We have discussed the basic operators also, like forward difference, backward difference, central difference, average operator, shift operator, and the relation between all these operators. And we have used some relations to get the Newton's interpolation formula. Then in next point, we have discussed numerical differentiation and numerical integration. Numerical integrations we have discussed in 3 forms. The first one as a Simpson's or trapezoidal rule, first of all, trapezoidal. Then second is Simpson's 1/3 and Simpson's 3/8. Am I audible? Hello? Is this audible?
Yes, sir.
Simpson's 3/8 rule. These are the 3 important rules of integration we have discussed. I already explained that these interpolation techniques, numerical integration techniques, some numerical methods to solve the differential equation techniques, these are all important for your future mathematics, which may be for the PG mathematics or while dealing with the real world problems from your branch. Definitely you'll come across with these methods from the numerical analysis. These are very, very important for you. And the last important point from the numerical we have seen as a numerical solutions to differential equation. Numerical solutions to ordinary differential equations. So we have seen some methods, right? What are those methods? First is the Taylor series method we have discussed, right? Taylor series. With the help of Taylor series formula, we have obtained the solution, that is particular solution of the given differential equation. Then the secondly, Euler's formula we have discussed, or Euler's method, right? In third, the modified Euler method we have discussed. Fourth one as a RK method we have discussed, Runge-Kutta method. That method we have discussed in 2 parts, RK method of second order and RK method of fourth order. I hope you all have remembered that 4Ks and 2Ks RK method. And the last method as a predictor corrector method.
Yes.
Predictor corrector method. So definitely there will be a question on modified and RK. Because the earlier first two, Taylor's and Euler's, are the basic methods. Rarely there were question on these 2 methods, and even on predictor corrector method is newly introduced into the 2019 pattern. So the modified Euler and RK method are very, very important. It doesn't mean that there will be no question on Taylor's and Euler's. It doesn't mean that on predictor corrector method also the question may ask, but these are the important points from the numerical methods we have discussed. Okay, unit number 3. Then unit number 2 as a transforms. Transforms we have seen in two parts. The first one as a Fourier transform, right? Fourier transform and Fourier integral. We have seen the three types of integrals: sine, cosine, and normal Fourier transform and their integrals. They are inverses of each other. Okay? And then based on that, we have solved the integral equations also with the help of transform techniques. The next is we have seen as a Z transform.
Transform.
Z transform is actually the complex transform, which gives the definition fz to be summation of f of k z raised to minus k,
Minus K.
where k varies from minus infinity to infinity. This is a complex transform of a given sequence. This is a sequence actually. So in complex or in Z transforms, we have seen the properties of Z transform, some standard theorems of Z transform, and then we have discussed the examples on Z transform using the properties and the standard formulas. Then later we have discussed the inverse Z transform, Z inverse, which are exactly opposite to the Z transform. And again the standard theorems and standard properties which are inverse or the opposite of Z transform techniques we have seen. So mainly inverse Z transform we have discussed in three parts as a Z transform using the power series method, then by partial fraction method, and the third one is inversion integral method. Yes, inversion integral method. So in inversion integral method, we have used the residue theorem. Just now we have discussed Cauchy residue theorem to get the required inverse Z transform. Okay. Then we have discussed the application of Z and inverse Z transform to solve the difference equations. Difference equations. Application of Z transform and inverse Z transform to solve the difference equation. That is again the very important point we have discussed. So definitely there will be a question on in question number 2a, first will be on application of linear differential equation. In question number 2b, there will be two sub questions. One is on Z transform, second is on inverse Z transform, and the question number 2c will be on difference equation. Difference equations, definitely, and that is compulsory. Here you'll be having two options. Okay, solve any one of the two, either Z or inverse Z transform. And the first is application to linear differential equation, that is to the electric circuit. Okay. So this is what about the theory question paper pattern for question number 2. So the difference equation is, if you are going for the second question, then difference equation is very important there. Okay. Then the unit number 1. Unit 1. In unit 1, linear differential equations with constant coefficient, we have seen mainly the two parts, that is LDA with constant coefficient and LD with variable coefficient or non-constant coefficient, isn't it? So LD with constant coefficient we have transformed into the standard form phi of phi y equal to, yes, the equation is phi of d into y is equal to function of x. Yes or no? This is the
Yes.
standard form of linear differential equation. And if the linear differential equation is linear differential equation with variable coefficient, Then we have reduced into the LD with constant coefficient with the help of suitable substitutions. There are two methods we have discussed into this. One is Cauchy's LDE, and the second is Legendry's LDE.
Legendary.
Right? Cauchy's LDE based on the coefficient. If the coefficient is a powers of x only, then that is Cauchy's, and we substitute for that x is equal to e to the power x. And in Legendary, the coefficient is of powers of is the power of ax plus b, and we have
Yes,
substituted
sir.
for that to be e raised to z. With the help of these, we get the substitutions for the differential terms. We substitute that into the given differential equation, which will be reduced into the LD with constant coefficient. And then we have applied the methods we have discussed for the solution of these equations. So the solution of this LD with constant coefficient is called the general solution, and that is of the form y equal to CF plus PI, complementary function plus particular integral, where this complementary function is a solution of homogeneous differential equation phi of d into y is equal to 0. Right? We consider its auxiliary equation phi of d
Phi
equal to
of d is
0,
equals to 0.
and we have obtained the roots of auxiliary equation, and depending upon the nature of auxiliary equation, we have the formula of complementary function. Suppose if the roots are real, distinct, then the formula for the complementary function is CF is equal to C1 e to the power m1x plus C2 e to the power m2x plus and so on. If the roots are real and repeated, then if the roots repeated 2 times, then complementary function is C1 plus C2x e to the power m1x or mx, right? Plus and so on. If the roots are complex of the form alpha plus minus I beta, complex distinct root, then the complementary function we have written as a CF is equal to e to the power alpha x into cos of beta x plus C1 cos beta x plus C2 sin beta x. Yes or no? And if the roots are complex and repeated, that is alpha plus minus I beta, is repeated twice, alpha plus minus I beta. So in total, there will be four
4 roots.
minimum roots, and we'll be having the complementary function as a e to the power alpha x times C1 plus C2x cos beta x plus C3 plus C4x sin beta x. Right. So depending upon the nature of the roots, we have these 4 formulas for the complementary function. We have substituted here into the general solution. This is the general solution, or it is also called complete solution. Right. General solution. Then move on to the next, that is particular integral. We have discussed in 3 parts as a general, then shortcut,
Variations of
and
it.
the last is variation of parameter method. Right? Variation of parameter method. General method is general, which will be applicable to all. That is why it is called general. There are some shortcuts to get the particular integral depending upon the nature of this right hand side function, this one. Right? And the variation of parameter method is completely different, which is completely based on the complementary function. Yes or no? So we have discussed these 3 methods to find the particular integral, and we have applied all these techniques of LD with constant coefficient and LD with variable coefficients to what? To the electric circuit, right? Application to the electric circuit. Yes or no? We have discussed the application of linear differential equation to the electric circuit to find the current flowing through the circuit, to find the charge in the circuit, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So this is all about we have discussed in the whole engineering mathematics 3. I hope you have enjoyed the learning throughout the semester. I'm sorry if I have taken your time. ठीक है, तो यहाँ हमारा इंजीनियरिंग मैथमेटिक्स का सिलेबस खत्म हो गया. If you want to ask me something, you can ask now. Any doubt, any question?